Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Picture an Anaheim vacation. What do you see?
It's always a postcard, isn't it? Palm trees, maybe a classic convertible on a big, empty street. The Beach Boys are probably playing. It
Yeah.
just feels breezy.
Breezy, that's the word, that's the dream. It's that 1950s marketing brochure that's still stuck in our heads.
Yeah.
But today, we're going to do something a little painful. We're going to shatter that illusion.
Yeah.
Because if you actually fly into Orange County today, you grab your bags, you walk out to the curb. Reality is not breezy.
No, it's more like a contact sport.
It's a logistics puzzle designed by someone who, frankly, hates you. And that's what we're digging into today. We're looking at the actual mechanics of moving through one of the busiest tourism hubs on the planet.
Right.
We're comparing the modern chaos of the rideshare world against the old school professional transportation. Your limos, town cars, that whole black car service vibe.
Yeah. And this is such a fascinating comparison because, most people think it's just about, a Chevy versus a Lincoln.
Right, luxury.
But it's not. It's a question of algorithms versus schedules. It's reactive versus proactive. It's actually a deep lesson in urban economics.
So to guide us through this massive traffic jam, we're pulling apart a really interesting document. It's called Anaheim Tourism Transportation, Data-Driven Travel Planning Guide. And it's published by Limo Service Anaheim. Now, I have to stop us right there. My skeptic hat is on immediately.
As it should be.
This is from a limo service. Presumably, the conclusion of this whole thing is going to be, please hire a limo.
Of course.
Are we just reading a brochure here?
I had the exact same thought, but I read through it, and here's why it's actually worth a deep dive. They're not just giving a sales copy. They've put together a dossier of raw data.
Okay.
They're using visitor stats from the city, market share data for Uber, academic research on congestion. So while they absolutely have a perspective,
They want to sell rides.
they want to sell rides, but the data they're using to make their case is objective. And, it paints a pretty wild picture of what's actually happening on the ground.
Okay, so we'll use their data,
Yeah.
but we'll keep our eyes open for the spin. The mission of this guide, as they state it, is to decode something they call travel friction.
Sounds like a physics term.
That's right.
And it basically is. It's this idea that moving through a city isn't just about distance. 5 miles in a cornfield is totally different than 5 miles in Times Square.
Right.
Friction is just all the resistance the city puts up against your movement. And in Anaheim, the friction it's just off the charts.
So let's talk about the scale of this machine, because the numbers, they blew my mind. The guide cites, visit Anaheim's report for 2024. How many people are we talking about?
26.3 million visitors.
26.3 million. I'm still trying to get my head around that. That is more than the entire population of Australia.
It is. Imagine taking an entire continent of people and funneling them through a few square miles of Southern California suburbia.
And it's still growing.
Oh, yeah. In 2023, it was 25.8 million. So the machine is accelerating. And they dropped $6.6 billion while they were there. This is not a sleepy beach town. It is a high-performance economic engine.
Which brings us to the aha moment on travel friction. The city of Anaheim notes that the resort area alone, that's where 25 million of those visitors are.
Right. And here's the implication most tourists completely miss until it's way too late.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of volume, the infrastructure, the roads, the sidewalks, the hotel driveways, it's all operating at max capacity.
Like a plumbing system.
Exactly. Think of it like a plumbing system. The pipes are designed for a single-family home, but you're trying to flush a skyscraper's worth of water through it. What happened?
It backs up. Horribly.
It backs up. The system has no slack, so if everything goes perfectly, it flows. But one fender bender, one little rainstorm, 3 conventions letting out at once.
Gridlock.
Total gridlock.
So the guide argues that while, specific incidents are random, you can't predict a flat tire. The environment itself is statistically predictable.
Precisely. You don't know what will cause the delay, but you can statistically guarantee that at certain times a delay will happen. A ride at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday is just fundamentally, physically different from a ride at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
Let's drill into that.
Yeah.
The guide breaks this down into 3 high-friction windows. And honestly, if you're planning a trip, you should probably write these down.
Or get a tattoo.
First one, morning arrivals. Now, I usually think of mornings as being pretty quiet. Why is this a friction point?
You have to visualize the collision of flows. So at the airport, you have a huge wave of flights landing. That's incoming pressure.
Okay.
But at the hotels, it's checkout time.
Ah, right. Everyone's leaving.
So you have thousands of people with bags trying to get out of the hotel driveway while thousands of new people are trying to get in. And then you add a third layer. The people already there are trying to leave to go to the parks for rope drop.
The hotel driveway becomes a mosh pit.
It's a complete logistical bottleneck. I mean, there literally isn't enough concrete for all the cars to stand on.
Wow. Okay, then you have the second window, the afternoon transition.
Yeah, the messy middle. This is around, say, 2 or 3 p.m. People are finally getting into their rooms, so they're rushing back from the parks. Other people are taking a nap break. It's a lot of short, choppy trips. It's not total gridlock, but it's high friction because everyone is crossing paths.
And then in the monster, the evening surge.
The exit wave. This is, without a doubt, the most intense window of the day. You've got dinner wrapping up, fireworks ending, events closing.
Everything at once.
Suddenly you have, 10, 20,000 people, all trying to leave a very small geographic circle at the exact same moment.
And I think this is where the guide makes a point that I hadn't really thought about. It's not just about time. It's about physical space.
Yes, constrained pickup space. This is huge at John Wayne Airport, which is the main hub. The airports manage this by being incredibly strict, designated levels, designated pillars. You can't just stop anywhere.
You're herded into a little pen.
Exactly. And when an arrival wave hits, let's say 6 flights land in 20 minutes, that curb becomes a total bottleneck. Even if there are 1,000 Ubers waiting nearby, they physically cannot get to you.
Which is the perfect transition to the core battle here. Rideshare versus professional logistics. Because the way most of us deal with this is we land, we get our bags, and we open an app.
We default to the reactive model.
Explain that.
Rideshare is reactive. It relies on real-time supply. You send out a demand signal, you tap the button, and the system reacts by trying to find a supply unit, a car, to match you.
Whereas professional transport, limos, chauffeurs, that's fun.
That's proactive. The car is there because you scheduled it 2 weeks ago. It operates on a routine, not a reaction.
But let's play devil's advocate. I use Uber all the time. It's easy, it's usually cheaper. Why is the guide coming down so hard on it? Is it just that they want my money?
Well, let's look at the economics they present. They cite data from Second Measure from March 2024. Uber holds about 76% of the U.S. rideshare market.
That's a massive chunk.
It's basically a behavioral monopoly.
Yeah.
And here's the so what for you as a traveler. If 76% of those 26 million visitors all reach for the exact same app at the exact same time, say right after the fireworks.
You're creating a massive demand spike.
A huge concentration of demand, which triggers dynamic pricing, the dreaded surge.
Right. And most people think, okay, I pay more to get a car. It's Econ 101, price goes up, more drivers log on, supply meets demand.
Simple. In theory.
In theory.
Except the guide points to academic research and even a Pulsar Center investigation that shows it doesn't always work that way.
Wait, what? If I pay $100 for a ride that should be 20, I expect a chariot to appear instantly.
You'd think so. But the research shows that higher prices do not always guarantee shorter wait times. It goes back to that physics of congestion we talked about.
The bottleneck.
Exactly. If the price surges to $200, but the road to the pickup zone is physically gridlocked, the driver can't teleport to you. The algorithm raised the price, but the infrastructure blocked the service.
So I'm paying a premium for nothing.
You're paying a premium to wait in the same traffic. And there's another layer the guide mentions from some MIT research, this concept of deadheading.
Deadheading. Sounds like a Grateful Dead thing.
I wish. In transportation, it's a vehicle operating empty. So rideshare drivers spend a ton of time just circling, waiting for a ping.
They're taking up space but not moving people.
Exactly. In a closed loop like the Anaheim resort, these circling cars are basically mobile roadblocks. They arguably intensify the congestion.
That's frustratingly ironic. The system that's supposed to solve the problem is actually making it worse.
It contributes to the friction. So for a solo traveler with a backpack, maybe this uncertainty is fine. You wait it out.
Sure, if you're solo, you're agile.
But the guide is really targeting families and groups. If you're a family of 4 or 5 with strollers and luggage.
Oh, that's an absolute nightmare.
You're facing 2 types of volatility. First, price volatility. You can't budget. Is the airport ride $40 or $120? You have no idea. But second, and I think worse, is time volatility.
The searching for driver screen of death.
Right. An immediate pickup might really be 25 minutes if the driver gets stuck in that exit wave, if you have a flight to catch. That volatility is a huge risk.
So this is how the source builds its case for professional transportation. And I notice they don't really use the word luxury much. They frame it as risk management.
That's the smart pivot, because if you think of a black car service as fancy, it feels like an indulgence. But if you think of it as buying certainty, well, it becomes a logistical tool.
Okay, so break down that value proposition for me. What am I actually buying?
You're buying three things. First, fixed pricing. You get a quote before you even leave your house. Doesn't matter if there's traffic, doesn't matter if it rains. The price is the price. No surge surprises.
Peace of mind. I like that.
Second is accountability. That car is reserved for you. They monitor your flight. If your plane is 2 hours late, the driver knows. The driver waits. You aren't just hoping a stranger accepts your request.
And the third?
Capacity. This is the big one for families. If you've got 5 people and 6 bags, you might need 2 Ubers. Or you have to pray an Uber XL is even available.
Right.
A professional service sends an SUV or a Sprinter van that's guaranteed to fit your group. It keeps everyone together.
It prevents that panic of, okay, mom goes in this car, dad goes in that one. Hope we see each other at the hotel.
Exactly. You're paying to remove variables.
Now, there was one detail in this report I almost skimmed over, but you flagged it as a huge deal. It was buried in the future outlook section. It's about the buses.
Yes. This is the breaking news context. The source cites reports indicating that in early 2026, the RT bus operations are winding down.
And just to clarify for everyone, RT is the Anaheim Resort Transportation. It's those little shuttle buses that run from the hotels to the parks.
Right. It's the budget-friendly mass transit backbone of the area. It moves a lot of people.
So if that winds down, what happens?
It's a classic ecosystem shock. You remove the budget mass transit option, but the demand doesn't just vanish. All those people still need to get to the park.
Just displaced.
Exactly. They flood into the other available channels. This is going to push thousands of daily riders into the rideshare ecosystem.
Which means the supply of Ubers is going to be even more strained.
Correct. The competition for that available car is going to skyrocket. And what does the algorithm do when demand skyrockets?
It surges prices.
So, ironically, the removal of the bus service might actually raise the base price of Uber to the point where the professional car service becomes legitimately price competitive.
That's a wild thought. The cheap option disappears, which makes the expensive option the only rational choice left.
It's a mobility ecosystem. You pull one leg out of the stool and the weight shifts violently to the others. If you're planning a trip for late 2026, you can't rely on old advice that says, just hop on the shuttle.
That shuttle might not be there.
It might not be there.
Okay, so we've painted this picture of congestion, surging prices, and disappearing buses. It sounds stressful. But we promised a playbook. We're not just going to tell people to spend a fortune on limos for every single trip, right?
No, and to their credit, neither does the guide. They propose what I think is the smartest takeaway from this whole thing, the hybrid strategy.
I love a good hybrid strategy. Break it down for me.
It's about auditing your trip. You divide all your movements into high stakes and low stakes.
Define high stakes.
High stakes are the moments where delay costs you more than just time. So arrival and departure days are the classic examples.
You have a flight to catch. You've got deadlines.
You've got luggage, you're tired, your stress level is low. I mean, if you miss your flight because your Uber got lost, the cost is just astronomical.
So for high stakes?
You book professional transport. You pay the premium to buy certainty. Lock in the ride, lock in the price. You start and end the trip with zero friction.
Okay. And low stakes.
That's Tuesday night. You want to go from the hotel to the garden walk for dinner. You don't have bags. If you're 15 minutes late for tacos, the tacos will still be there.
The consequences are low?
Exactly. For those trips, use rideshare, roll the dice, save the money. If the price is surging, walk across the street and try again. You have flexibility, so you don't need to pay for certainty.
That makes a lot of sense. You
Yeah.
spend the budget where it protects your sanity, and you save it where you can afford to be flexible.
Exactly. And speaking of being flexible, there are some tactical tips for those rideshare moments to help you, beat the machine.
Give me the cheat codes.
Cheat code number 1, shift your window. We talked about that exit wave after the fireworks.
Do 10,000 people leaving at once.
Do not try to call a car at that exact moment. You are fighting an algorithm that is designed to squeeze you.
So what do I do?
Wait 30 minutes, go browse a shop, sit on a bench, and people watch. Grab a churro.
The strategic churro.
It's the best investment you can make. By waiting that half hour, the surge pricing almost always breaks. You save $20-30 just by eating a snack.
I like that. What else?
Budget for variability. If you're going to rely on rideshare, stop looking at the price on Tuesday morning and thinking that's the price for Saturday night. It won't be. Pad your transport budget by 30 or 40%. If you don't use it, great. Buy more souvenirs.
Right. And there was one more point about group math that I thought was pretty counterintuitive.
Yeah, this is for the families. People assume a private SUV is just for the rich and famous, but do the math. If you're a group of 6...
You can't fit in a Prius.
No. So you either order 2 standard Ubers, now you're paying 2 fares, tipping 2 drivers, or you order an Uber XL, which is already a premium and is in short supply.
And with 2 cars, you've got the whole logistical nightmare of splitting up.
Did mom's car make it? Where's dad? It's stressful when you add up the cost of 2 Ubers plus that stress tax. A single professional Sprinter van might actually be cost competitive. 1 fare, everyone's together, the driver handles the bags.
It's the economy of scale.
Exactly. Don't write it off until you actually run the numbers.
So let's bring this all home. What's the real lesson here? Because we started talking about cars, but we're really talking about how to enjoy vacation.
We are. The lesson is that Anaheim is a machine, a 26 million person machine. And when you step into that machine, you are competing for space.
Space on the road, space at the curb.
And the source material, fundamentally, is making an argument about currency. We tend to think the only currency on vacation is dollars. Oh, I saved $15 on this ride.
But there's another currency.
Time and mental energy. And the source argues, and I completely agree, that those are the most valuable assets you have on a trip.
Is saving $15 worth the stress of standing at a curb, inhaling exhaust, staring at a phone that says searching for driver, while your blood pressure spikes?
For most people, the answer is no. But you usually only realize that when you're already standing there.
That's the catch. You can't buy insurance after the house is on fire.
Exactly. You have to decide to buy certainty before you fly. That's what the proactive model is all about.
It seems like the future of travel might just be planning ahead, which feels like a strange return to the past.
It really does. With the RT bus leaving and visitor numbers breaking records, the whole on-demand world is cracking under the pressure. We might be seeing a return to the schedule. The only way to beat the algorithm is to just opt out of it entirely.
A radical thought. Opt out of the algorithm.
Sometimes the old ways work best.
Well, there you have it. A deep dive into the friction of Anaheim. Next time you're heading out there, remember, the machine is big, but you can outsmart it if you have a plan.
And maybe a strategic churro.
Always the churro. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next deep dive.